right, good afternoon, everyone. All right, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Hope everybody's doing well today. We'll go ahead and get started with our notice of public meeting of the Brownsville Community Improvement Corporation Board of Directors pursuant to Chapter 551, Title 5 of the Texas Government Code, the Texas Open Meetings Act. Notice is hereby given that a meeting of the Brownsville Community Improvement Corporation will be held Monday, February 2nd at 5:30 in the El Valle Room at Ebert Center. We will go ahead and move on to item 1, which is roll call. Dr. Rose Gowen. Cesar Lopez. Murad Abu Salim. Sergio Martinez. Tracy Wickett. Michael Rodriguez. And Ruben Obel is running a few minutes late. We will move on to skip on to item 3, which is public comment. At the moment, we do not have public comment. We will move on to item 4, consent agenda items. All items are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion. If requested by a board member, any item may be taken off the consent agenda by the chair for individual consideration. So consent agenda items 4.1 through 4.5. I will say that item 4.1, item B, will be tabled for the next session as counseled by our legal department.
So we need a motion.
The 3 fingers, Dr. Gowen.
3 fingers, 2 taps.
There we go. Oh, one more time. There we go.
We need a motion, folks, to approve the consent agenda items minus number B under 4.1.
Correct.
That item will be tabling, so please make your motion to say that. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second? All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed?
I'm sorry, who's second?
Tracy. I mean, I'm
Tracy.
sorry, she made the motion.
She made the motion.
I second.
You second.
Thank you.
I apologize.
Thank you.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Next
Presentation. Item 5 is the update on the City of Brownsville Quality of Life projects.
Board, I would like to invite Sean with the City of Brownsville.
Good evening, everyone, or good afternoon. I'm Sean DePalma, I am the director of.
Yeah, you're gonna have to
Parks and Recreation. You guys know I have the ADD and I do. Can I get a lavalier next time? Like, help me out. Okay, perfect. So I'm Sean DePalma. I am the director of the beautiful City of Brownsville Parks and Recreation Department. We're gonna give an update to, I'm gonna give an update, not we, to our BCIC funded projects from 2025. As you know, last year I came and presented on a request for funding for almost 24 projects. And the board was gracious enough to honor us with that stewardship of the funding so that we can move through some of these projects. In addition to that, I did ask at that time, because there was a misunderstanding or something of that nature from the years prior, that the Department of Parks and Recreation did not fully execute some of the projects that were funded by BCIC. So I'm hoping tonight, when I go through this update, that it will be exciting news, mainly because you're honoring us with the stewardship of these funds. I feel we're right on target to accommodate the requirement or the expectation of finishing our projects within a reasonable amount of time, and to deliver them to the public as both our organizations look to do each year. So we'll start off with, we had a total of 25 projects that were funded. This is going to be a combination of projects that are for the general Parks Department, and that's 16 of them, In addition to that, there was the sports park. As you know, there was funding that was 1.57 million remaining that was also entrusted to the department to utilize for projects. And then we had some community partners that utilize our facilities that are nonprofits, and they had projects that they wanted to, they came and asked for funding, but we were able to manage it because we had the expertise, and it was on our property to help bring those to fruition as well. So thank you very much. Right there we have, of that breakdown of the 25, we have 22 active projects, and I'm gonna give you some status to those. And then we have 3 completed projects. And if you remember, we discussed an 12 to 18 month time frame last year for starting April, and you'll see that we're gonna be very much in a reasonable amount of time of what we discussed last year. So this is what that budget looks like, that funding that came to our department, which is general at the 3.38 million, the 1.57 million that I mentioned a minute ago regarding the sports park, and then our nonprofit partners at a little less than $500,000. I'm sorry, I have it in front of me, but it's better if I look at it. I could do that. Okay, perfect. So general projects, we have our Morningside Park. Whoa. Morningside Park, and we also have our tennis center. If you see Morningside Park sports fields, they're under design right now, and we just navigated through our procurement process, and we're looking to start those projects right there within the next month and a half. So that will bring us, we're looking at the spring of 2026, closer to summertime, to have that project done. Our tennis lighting retrofit is completed, and then we have our splash pads. Both of those are in design. Well, we have design. We're in planning right now for permits with the city, and as soon as we finish up our permits, we are also moving along with our procurement process. And once that's completed, we feel that we'll be able to install those fairly quickly. We have done environmental testing on the area that to be compliant with our permit, but also to ensure that we're navigating the ground properly and the terrain properly. We have also built a very high digital contour of the ground, and so we can locate how we're going to move water and make sure the project doesn't adversely impact the property once we install these 2 splash pads. And then what is unique about these 2 splash pads is the version of splash pad that we went with is not as unique when you look outside. It's going to be a splash pad. Children are going to enjoy it. It's what's going in the ground. The infrastructure is going to be what's called a reclaim system. So because we're in the valley and we do deal with droughts time to time, and we don't want to just run water onto the human body for the experience and then push it into the PUB wastewater system. At the same time, there's research done about ultra light on splash pads, especially when it comes to young female users. And so to maintain a high level of cleanliness, and ensure that the water is at a high level of usability for the patron, we're gonna then take that water once it's used at the splash pad, store it, and then it gets used at the facility for irrigation. So it gets repurposed. Now there's a filtration system before the water gets to the human being, and then once it leaves the human body, it goes through a secondary filtration system so that we can use it for our fields and our irrigation. So that's one thing that is quite unique about the splash pads. We had accessibility in playgrounds. I don't know why it skips ahead. We did finish our project at Kabler Park. We are scheduled to finish the Oliveta playground this month. Right now was just some, we were gonna finish at the beginning of the month, but we're gonna have it done by the end of the month. It's just a little bit of concrete work for the sidewalk that is encasing the entire playground so that we can make it a fully accessible playground. And because of the weather, we're working on that. Okay, that TV went out, so my next one is 3 parks for accessibility. And that is pour in place, which is rubberized ground walkways to get from the sidewalk to the first activity platform on the playground apparatus. Last year we came to you speaking about families that have children that need that additional connectability, and a lot of our playgrounds do not have that connectability. So we will have 3 of them done. Even though this says it is springtime, but we should have it in the next month and a half to 2 months. And now we're at Oliveta Playground, and I kind of mentioned that one earlier. And as you see, it's moving along very well. Splash pad, I kind of gave detail of this, which is our retention system that will be 2 filters and then reuse of the water. So we're being very environmental friendly and thoughtful when we're doing that. Sorry, this keeps flipping too fast on me. And then the next one is our restrooms. We're in the middle of, we have our scope done. We're actually just in the middle of pricing out materials and then allocating what staff, because we're gonna do the bulk of the upgrading to the restrooms with our department's in-house staff. So that team is actually building out what's called a program with several projects, these 4 restroom projects within that program. And we're just going through some of the procurement to purchase the items, and then we'll start to deploy the team out to install those and do the repairs. And so we're moving along with that project. These 2 that are coming up right now, the rec center design is actually in I want to say a brief pause. The city strategy recently is that we're going to go to the public with public charrettes and public meetings in the next month and a half or 2, and really get input on what they would like to see when it comes to rec centers. And then at that point, build a really robust scope to go out to a design team so that we would know what we're asking them to start to look at when it comes to rec center design. As well as the southmost water park plane is actually in the midst of being worked on right now. That project is, again, one of the projects that we've put a pin in or put a pause on, because I would like to come back to you once we finalize the next couple of meetings of design, is to see if we can repurpose this 250 that has already been allocated for an amenity at that park, because the design work is so far along in-house and with connection with the water mitigation portion. So we most likely won't need this money for design, but since it's already allocated, I want to come back and ask if we can repurpose this money. But we're almost at the point where we'll have a clear picture of that, if that's a strategy that we would come and see if we can partner with you. And that's the southmost water plane park, the 250,000. And then we have the park amenities. Almost all of that 180,000 has been allocated or spent for park improvement amenities. Right now, if you pay attention to any of our social media, just last week we deployed in-house, I think it was 22 park picnic benches. When we purchased these, based off of being very prudent with the funding that you entrusted us with, we don't buy already assembled units, because we found we can buy bigger bulk when they're not assembled, they come as pieces. So our team in-house has to then put them together to deploy them. And that's the same thing when it comes to other certain amenities like benches and so forth. But we have already really started bringing a lot of amenities, water fountains as well, and so forth. So that 180,000, thank you for giving that to us. But it will, I would say we're at about 80% already purchased. And of that 80%, we're probably somewhere around the 75, 80% of that being already deployed or about to be deployed. And then the tree canopy enhancements, right now that is with design work and also planning with our city forester and some of the work group that we partner with inside EPW. So that again is going to be deployed. They're just finalizing the procurement process in-house. And that's kind of what securing purchase order is. And then we have the sports park, as I mentioned at the beginning, 1.57 million that was entrusted with us. And these were the projects that we are deploying and we're executing. The lights have been completed. We did do a ribbon cutting. The backstop padding, that project has already started. The nets and fencing, meaning that's being purchased and so forth. The nets and fencing project has already started. There's one field I think is being worked on this week, and then the second one will be started soon, either at the end of this week or next week. And then the irrigation system right now, because there's an engineering component to bringing water to a pump to be pushed out a main line, and we're restoring those main lines and the different arteries that move water. It's still the design's done and we just got it, but we're going through the procurement process. But as soon as we get that, we feel we can execute the rollout of that project very quickly. And shade structures, same thing. We're in the middle of, we have the procurement process. We just wrapped that up not too long ago, and we're going to be able to deploy that project. That project did throw us a curveball in the midst of it because this project was to replace the actual canopies, but we had to now adjust because some of those structures were not structurally intact, and some of their welding points and so forth. So we had to go back and in-house start to do adjustments to make sure that they were structurally sound so that we can then add the canopies on and so forth. So that project will still be done probably it says spring 2026. It's really like right at the beginning of summer, early part of summer, in that May timeframe, early June. But we have adjusted to the curveball and we're moving forward. And then we have the canopy project with the pollinators. That again is grouped in with that other tree project because as a city we're doing it collectively with a team of EPW, City Forester, my department and my teammates, and doing project by project and looking to buy bulk, and also how we're moving water because you can't just plant a tree without a water source. So we're just navigating that. And that is it. Is there any questions? But before I want to say thank you for entrusting us with the funding. And I hope that we are on a high pace to complete these projects. Almost, I would say close to 70% of those projects that we mentioned outside of those two design projects are almost done, or the prep to begin the project is getting wrapped up, so the actual project will be executed. And you'll see a lot of these prior to summertime. I would say a good portion, about 2/3, will be done before children are out of school for this summer. So I hope that helps from our discussion last year. Yes, ma'am.
My question was about the La Posada Park, the grant. If you heard back from
Okay.
Texas Park and Wildlife?
Yes, we did hear back. We did not get the grant. We missed it by 3 slots. We were the 53rd slot, and they gave out 50 grant opportunities. And as you remember, the first year we did not even get in the top 100. We made adjustments to our scope based off of our meetings with the Texas Wildlife group. And then we submitted this past year, we got to 53, and then we feel by tweaking it just a little bit more, that we're gonna get into that next 50 next year, but we still intend to pursue it. When I say adjustments, I don't mean, removing any major components, it's really how we're presenting
The narrative?
and the narrative, because we came with a lot of history components the first year. They said they didn't want any history components, so it was more recreation, quality of life, and accessibility, and we tweaked to that, and that's why I feel we were competitive enough to get to where we are, but we'll, again, take that narrative, tweak it a little more, and third time's the charm.
Why you make it difficult? Thank you very much for the presentation, and I can tell that there is a more fast pace to accomplish these projects, which is great. But kind of following up on Corey's question, I think from that first phase or first grant, if you wish, that 2024 1 and 2, La Posada is the only one that is still on hold or didn't move, but everything else has been completed, correct? From the previous funding.
For 2024?
Yes.
From the Parks
For the
Department?
Parks Department.
Yes, sir.
The only ones that are not finalized or still in the finalization process is the master plans, correct? The parks and...
I can give you an update really
Oh, yes,
quick. Thank
thank
you
you.
for bringing that up, and I'm sorry I did not do that.
Yeah.
Yes, so thank you for that as well, funding the main portion of the master plan. So the Parks, Health, Recreation Master Plan, final draft is due next week. And we, as recent as this morning, we sent out something Friday. So this morning we got the response that they're on track. We want to make sure the critical path is being executed. And then it will go, the process is, it will be on the agenda for executive session with the city leadership on the 17th. For their city commission, and then after that, then it will be publicly announced, and then they'll get to review it with the public. But we are on critical path, and we are on pace to be according to that critical path.
So when do you?
Double tap, double tap.
It is 3. Yes, there. So if you present it if it is presented to the city commission on the 17th, when is it presented to this board? Since we funded it.
In that executive session, I can ask for guidance and come back to you. I'll reach out to Corey on the 17th, right when I walk onto that meeting,
Okay.
which she knows I will.
Because this board did fund it, and we
Yes.
are interested in hearing it before the general public.
Not only you funded it, but your main key stakeholders as a group as well. So, yes, ma'am. So would it be safe to say that I get invited back in March to do that presentation?
Sure.
Okay, so
And-
I will make sure I communicate that, ma'am.
And do you have, I know maybe it's not under your department, but do you have any update on the downtown master plan, or is that different?
It's a different department, but the last I heard, it is moving on its critical path as well.
Thank
Okay.
We will be hosting the first week of March, 3 dates, right? Yes. 3 dates for the downtown master plan here at the E-Bridge. The consultants are coming down, and with the city, I'm not sure exactly, but they want to activate this room and the other classroom and the co-sharing.
Yeah.
So there's something happening. So once we find out more, but it's the first week of March, we'll let you know on that. I believe that's probably the last engagement for stakeholders. It will be for that week.
Any
And
other,
the bus stops, I'll find out about what the status is on the bus stops.
Yes, I don't do bus stops. I'm sorry about that. I can adopt 1 or 2 if you'd like.
any other questions from this side of the room for Sean?
All good. No, thank you.
I do have one question. Is there something particular that you would look for if I did come back, not only with the master plan in March, but possibly asking for reallocating that $250,000 from the Southmost Plain Park design? Is there something specific that I would know the amenity and how much that amenity and what it would be used for, so I would come with that, but is there any other type of information that would help you evaluate the opportunity completely?
So I can only answer for myself personally, because it's not an action item, but everyone is welcome to have a comment. So as you probably heard, we had 23 submissions for the quality of life bucket. That is not this bucket. And that's an enormous outpouring of requests, but quite a few of them are happening within parks. And so perhaps one of the things that you should I know that this has been presented to you, maybe a word about how you think we should interact with that,
Mhm.
those, and whether or not that repurposing could be designed for something in that realm that would take it out of this bucket into another bucket.
Okay. One, thank you for that. And two, I am, in my mind, the strategy and the hope is the 17th of this month, I present the request to the commission for this ask for 2026, and then I can present that to you, to the board and Corey in March as well, and that's something hopefully I can navigate. What I will say is between Corey and I and myself, we have discussed it. What we have done in my department, we took away what we're looking to ask and then started meeting touch points again with our community partners, because we did it at the beginning of the process, because we want to help them all the way through. And we did our touch points, and so what we did is just take some of those and remove what we were planning to request out, and then slide those in, and then start to tweak some of the numbers so that it's still palatable. So I believe we did support of 10 organizations, 10 projects were supported.
I think it was a total of 6.
For this year?
Yeah, for this, that came to us.
Okay,
8, but there was 2 that we were pulling into something else.
okay, so that would be good if I know. But then what we're gonna do is, for the ones that we discussed, we're gonna go ahead and make sure we bring them into our ask, and then remove what we were originally in January or late December. Thank you for the extension, asking. So
Okay.
I'm hoping that will help us
It will help
navigate that.
It will help both of us.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Anybody else? Sean, thank you so much. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Item number 6, update on big projects, presenting Eric Quintero, Community Development Manager.
There we go, 3 fingers. All right, good afternoon. I'm going to go present at the request from this last meeting an update on the big projects we have, specifically our rent and the open projects we have for the standard extensive projects. So the program at a glance right now, it's a couple of different ones that we run. Storefront grant, it's our newly approved grant type that was given for this fiscal year. It's for quick, high-visibility exterior upgrades with a 50-50 match up to $10,000. Typical uses would be for paint, murals, lighting, signage, and facade repairs, specifically for our businesses that have been established 2 years or more, as well as anybody that has not received BIG in the past. Our standard rehabilitation is for moderate facade and interior work to prepare spaces for occupancy, also 50-50 match, but with a $25,000 max award for facade and $35,000 for interior, which could assist with facade restorations, MEP upgrades, and the interior build-out. Our extensive is more for the larger scale projects. They're broken up into tier 1 and tier 2. It's for transformational multi-story redevelopment with an 80-20 match, up to 100,000 for tier 1 for projects that are 500,000 and below, and 200,000 for the match for any projects that are $500,000 or more. And it is to assist with the structural integrity of the building, HVAC, fire suppression, full building rehab, as well as everything included under standard. And then, of course, our rental reinvestment is to support new and expanding businesses with the rent costs. The payout structure for this one would be 50% up to $1,250 a month. The first 6 months would be monthly. The last 6 would be broken up into 2 quarters, pending tax confirmation, the property owner confirmation that the tenant is in good standing, profit loss, as well as, again, tax confirmation that they are paying their employees and that they do employ 2 or more.
Sorry to interrupt, just to confirm, the extensive rehabilitation, you said 200,000 for what amount?
For projects that are over $500,000 or more, up to 200,000. So it's not a confirmed that they are going to get 200. It depends on the amount of work of applicable costs that they have.
I thought it was $1 million. No?
I believe it's 500 or more.
Okay, I mean,
Yeah.
just
Yeah. So for the extensive, for the 100 has to be a minimum of 250 to 500.
I understand that.
Yeah. And then 500 or more for the extensive tier 2.
Okay.
For the rental, it's up to 15,000 per year, or 50% of what the rent costs are. And the typical uses rent assistance during the early developments. So, do want to make a note, the big grants are structured to support projects of all scales and rental assistance for job creation and retention. The goal is to assist with the creation and retention of our jobs and further activate the economy here in downtown. So when it comes to our rent projects awarded, I did list anybody that's gotten funding for the rent since 2019 up to our last approved project in December. We've had a total of 35 projects awarded. We've awarded a total of $333,152. We still have pending balances of $63,690. 21 of the businesses are still open. 9 of them have been closed. 5 have relocated. And on average, well, a ballpark estimate would be about 249 jobs created out of these programs. Of the businesses closed, 6 of them are still pending a little bit of info as to when the close dates are. I did do as much research as I could, but some of them just went dark on socials. One of them did have the owners go into active duty, and the most recent one, the owner sold the business, and it is now SIP Society.
Question.
Mhm.
I did notice one that was paused.
Mhm.
Why would you pause it? I'm just curious.
So right now, the business is on hold. The owners are reevaluating if they're going to change the concept or if they're going to shut down. Just because of rising costs, low traffic, they've run into a couple issues.
Okay.
So when you say pause, you mean you're not giving them any money
Correct.
during this time?
Correct.
Rather than, I mean, this is great, however, rather than just a big block of 35 projects in totals,
Mhm.
I would like to see per year, what is the success rate of each of these projects?
Yes, I believe in the attachment, it should have a breakdown color-coded.
That should be in the presentation for the public
Okay.
as well to see.
Mhm.
So of the 9 that closed, were they 1 year open, 2 years open, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And also of those 249 jobs that you estimate were created, does that need to be lower for the 9 that closed? Or is that the,
That is with the removal of the 9 that closed.
with the removal of
Correct.
the 9?
It was about 40 that were taken off for the 9 that closed.
So moving forward,
Mhm.
that kind of ongoing data so that we can see how long if we give rental assistance to somebody, what is the average length that they stay open? You know, of course, we all hope it's
Mhm.
a long time, but the reality would be important data to track.
Correct. Yeah, I agree. And next time I do the presentation, I will provide that. I'm working on, now that we have Astrid on board as business retention, doing more surveys and talking more with these businesses that have gone through our programs to see where we can step in and help out. You know, it is also helping the new improvements that the board did approve this for this fiscal year, requesting more and really breaking down what we do expect and need from these business owners that are applying.
And these requests that we make to them of what you decide is needed for them to provide is part of the contract? In other words,
Yes.
you get the money, you must comply.
Yes, and it's part of the application as well when they submit.
And then the other column is how many of these projects have defaulted, and are they all in compliance? Are there any that are not compliant, and so forth?
The other thing I would like to see, Eric, because I think this is just for the rent, I would like to see the whole amounts that each business has been awarded. If it's any improvements, anything else, are they still open or still closed? I want to see
Sure.
exactly how much we awarded to each one, because just by judging here in the projects, 35 projects, 9 closed, looking at about a 30% rate that closed, that shut down. So, you know, just, I want to see not just the rental, because this is a rental, whatever we've helped them out with rent.
Mhm.
But, you know, sometimes we help out with the interior, exterior, so I would like to see all of that as well.
And the same goes with compliance for those other projects, the facade improvements and such. I want to know, and I'm
Okay.
sure everyone else does, how many of those are in complete compliance and not, or not.
Definitely, I can get that for you guys. Any other questions on rent?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, it's gonna go over property now.
Briefly.
Yes. Okay, when it comes to our standard and extensive projects, we currently have 13 open with 13 projects totally awarded with awarded of 1.1 million. Currently, they have been reimbursed 250,000. We are looking at about 264,000 plus as of now in project disbursements by the end of March. These numbers are as per end of December. I have done a couple of reimbursements to lower that amount these last couple of weeks. And as of December and January, I have about 17 active leads for rent, standard, storefront, and extensive. And any questions? That is all I have.
What's Congress on Washington? I don't think I was a part of that, because it was back in 22, I just don't recall.
That was before my time as well.
That is the owners of Terrace,
Oh.
and they have a building across from City Plaza on St. Charles and 10th Street. And so they're rehabbing, which was an old, prior to them purchasing it, it was a church, but before that, it was a dealership many years ago. So they're making that into a multi-use venue, as well as on the side, some type of bar and restaurant. It's taken a considerable long time for them to. Yeah, and that was that's the last of our Musk funds too, because they used our Musk funds for this.
Okay.
They've had labor issues in products.
Do we put a time frame to see, like, do we have to finish within 2-3 years, or?
Yeah, we put a time frame for 2 years, and we amended it to extend it. So it's time for us to revisit it again.
What about the Samano building and El Jardín, like the Samano, the CDCB building?
Samano,
That's completed already. Why?
I did it this last week. That's why.
Okay,
Since
so-
that number is going to fall off by the next time financials are done, and then El Jardín, they are going to be looking at end of 26 to be finished. Same for the Cameron.
They're having an opening
I know, I thought I was just.
by the end of this
Yeah,
month.
but they haven't activated the downstairs commercial spot for the El
Is that
Jardín.
what this for?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what that's for, to activate. So they were going through possible vendors, but Samana Building took one of the vendors that they were looking at. So they're looking at what vendors are interested in that space. The concept was to be a grocery store, but since Samana Building's taking, that concept, they're looking at a restaurant to go into that commercial spot.
So is the fund was awarded contingent on activating or just renovating the space?
Contingent on having someone to go into that space.
Yeah, because it did fall under our extensive. So for extensive, they have to have a tenant signed and written.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item.
Thank you. Item number 7, President's Report.
All right. This is just really brief. 1, 2. The clicker. Sorry about that.
What?
The light's flickering.
Oh, I thought it was me.
No, no.
It is flickering, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I want to just provide a quick update on 4 things that I'm actively working on, just so that way y'all are knowing what's going on besides staff at what I'm doing. So I'm currently working on, with staff, on the new hires, the blueprint lab for our phase 2 on the 2nd floor. Our conversation that Dr. Gallo and I had last week with the Mayor's Summit, and we're hosting a nonprofit workshop series. So the new hires, deadline for VP is this week on the 5th. We've had a tremendous amount of submissions. A lot more than we had for the loan coordinator, and we're still not closed. It's over 150.
Oh, come on.
Seriously? I'm serious.
Wow.
Yeah,
This is how it
170. People want to work with us. That's right. Though those are things that we still have to review and all that. It's because submission, and it ends on the 5th. So we will be going through the reviewing of the applications. The idea is we want to interview in March to hire at the end of March, early April. We want to have this person on board before we do RGV Startup Week, just so they get the feel of what it is, because they will be running it next year. Loan coordinator Victoria is in the process of setting up interviews. The idea is for us to hire and onboard at the later this month or early March.
How many applications did you get for that one?
135?
Come on.
154.
Wow.
Yeah. More than we anticipated, and we'll take it as they want to work with us. Yes, we're awesome to work with. Blueprint Lab. So this was a part of the grant that we received with EDA. We got some money to buy equipment that we are now putting together. Our IT people are putting it together on the 2nd floor. My biggest concern was always activation. We have this equipment, but we don't really know about 3D printing and how does that use for commercialization and building your prototyping. I reached out to UTRGV to see if they could, tell them my problems, if they could help with solutions. And so Ron and I have gone back and forth, and UTRGV is wanting to assist with us, and they would put a student in for 15 hours a week, and that person would help with the printing and orientation for the people hosting workshops for the community. In turn, we make sure the equipment's maintenance, and we buy the material that's needed. That's still up to what are those materials and what are those costs, and those are things I will bring to the board along with the possible draft of the MOU to UTRGV at our next board meeting.
So is the lab set up already? Do you have the equipment set up?
We have the equipment set up. We don't have it all nice where it's going to be set up. It's just set up.
What you like? It's not connected.
It's not connected to a computer yet. I think Mauricio has run at least 1 or 2 of those, correct? But he's building our big 3D printer, which is very massive. In my opinion, it's very large. So he's been working on that for over a month now, because it's not an easy task to build.
And have we figured out the exhaust system for the laser cutter? That's part of the equipment.
That's what we decided to do on phase 3, because we would have to retrofit this, I call it our garage.
That's why.
And right now, I just want to get those going and activated and then move to this one. Because we can't put it on the second floor, it's too large, too heavy. We would need a crane to move it to the second floor. So the idea before Nathan left was we would retrofit this, I call it our garage. To be able to fit, we would have to put AC, the right type of electrical in there. I think it's a 220.
Mhm.
So that will come, but that will be followed very neatly after we activate this. The idea is we want to move fast on this so we can have a ribbon cutting before we do RGV startup week. And that way it's going and we're in compliance with our EDA grant.
I mean, it's great that you're trying to find a partnership with UTRGV to help you kind of activate, but I guess a good or potential partnership could be with BISD. You know, they have a lot of technology geared classes nowadays, cohorts that go through a whole training that could be a good user to come in and use the lab.
I agree.
TSC also have some programs, so I think you shouldn't be kind of confining yourself to one entity.
Well,
It's going to be a hub to
Yeah.
different entities to come in, because the more you activate it, the better it is, right? For
The idea is
the
for,
community.
at least for us, and we can always look at it for maybe 1 year, is just 50, because we're gonna have office hours to activate, having those machines be able to run. Won't have them running, 40 hours a week, we figure just 10 hours a week to start off, and figure as we go what's happening. But the idea is UTRGV is the one that would help with the operations, helping whoever comes in, so we can do students coming in and telling them how to work it, be able to, how to upload it to the computer so that way then it prints, and doing any troubleshooting.
And just FYI, if you run a 3D, rendering or drawings, this might take 24 hours based on the size. So
Yes.
it's not just a matter of like come in and go. You will have it running overnight. So you need to find a mechanism of at least environmental control or
I
security
agree.
control, whatever. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, we're going down that, as I say, rabbit hole, finding out these little things that, like he says, that they're not quick to print. So again, it'll be trial and error until we figure out, because this is really new for us. But once we get going, having it is a great way to, have a hands-on resource for our small business, our advanced manufacturing, for our students. So we'll get there.
And UTRGV doesn't have any engineers or engineering students that could help put it together?
Actually, Ron and I talked about it, is that if we go into this MOU and we're still not quite there yet, they can help with, the engineering students are the ones who are gonna actually help run upstairs and create the SOPs. And he said they could also help with putting it together if we haven't gotten all the way over there yet. Including downstairs with that laser cutter.
Okay.
All right, next is our mayor's summit. So Dr. Gowan and I had a meeting with the mayor and the interim city manager last week. I think it was last week, might have been the week before last. What they want to do is host a mayor's summit next month and have the different stakeholders around the community attend. It's really to reflect on all of our successes, discuss our future projects. That way we can align and see if there's any collaboration across our sectors. So I think it's going to be a great opportunity. What was mentioned was it was the board and maybe key of my staff would attend. So it should be a pretty large meeting. I don't know if they're going to separate between sectors or not, but more information will follow. So that way everyone can make plans to attend. And lastly is our workshops that we are as a community partner. It's with the Association of Fundraising Professionals, as well as with Nonprofit Resource Center at UTRGV and the City of Brownsville. We are hosting a few workshops throughout this year to our nonprofits. And the purpose of that is really, one thing that we heard back when we were doing the stakeholder meetings during our town halls for our building of our strategic plan, that there was the nonprofits needed more resources. They wanted to be at the table, to be able to be part of the conversation. As we know, when we're doing the first quality of life, many don't have audit financials. And so we were learning how can we build that capacity for these nonprofits. And that was in our strategic plan of how we can be a good partner in finding these resources. So this is our first step, is hosting these workshops. We have various workshops, and the whole purpose of it is so it could grant strategy, board leadership, fundraising innovation, using AI to elevate their capacity. And we'll host those throughout the year, and then we'll do also surveys to see how the impact is and follow up to see if any of these information that were given out, if it really did have an impact in how they move forward in their nonprofit. So then we can, know if this is something we want to continue next year. But it's a great start for us. Great start to help with our nonprofits.
When is that gonna be?
The first one is the 10th.
Oh, there, I see it, I'm sorry.
And then we'll have the rest. The Nonprofit Resource Center is the one sending invites, but we're also sending invites to make sure that the ones that we work with are aware and encourage them to attend.
So are we, sorry?
That's right.
No, I was wondering about the dates, like we're having the 10th of February, March 25th, and we have a March summit, like are we gonna be able to, and then we have the shadow days, and everything shut down, so.
Yeah,
Are we okay with this schedule?
it's crazy. I think so. I mean, these workshops won't have effective for the mayor or something unless we want to attend. It will only, because staff will be attending these workshops. So we will pivot and adjust, and we have enough to where we can represent on both ends. And that's it. That's it for my report. So, any other questions? All right. Next.
All right, items for individual consideration. Item number 8, consideration, discussion, and acknowledgement of the December 2025 financial reports and the quarterly investment report for the period ending December 31st, 2025.
Thank you. That's a green one, right?
Yep. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Board. Rafael Garcia from the City of Bronzeville, Financial Services. Today, we're presenting the financial report through December 2025, which is for this new fiscal year. At the end of December, there was cash in bank of $957,000, investments in the pools and money markets of $17 million, and we had an accounts receivables balance of $1.3 million. So total assets was $19.4 million as of December 31st. Accounts payable, we are at $2.6 million, consisting basically, we did accrue $1.5 million in quality of life project that were already expensed by the city. So the city is asking for reimbursement, and we submitted already those invoices to Eric, and we're working on that. And also we accrued $500,000 for the sports park maintenance agreement that basically every year you budget for. So that's the bulk of the accounts payables line item. So the restricted, the fund balances, there's $403,000 in restricted fund balance, which consists of the airport bond, the City of Bronzeville administrative fees, and $14,000 that's still pending on the Dignity trailer. And I think we have we're pending some to invoicing, I guess, other sponsors.
Yeah.
Right. On the committed, we have $9.6 million. Of $918,000 is composed of big grants. Those are grants that have already been awarded and approved by the board and have not been paid. We have a quality of life projects of $8.5 million, and that's basically those parks improvements that Sean talked about a little while ago, that they're working on it.
But that also include the other quality of lives, right?
Yes.
So it's not just the city, this is everything.
Correct, everything. Mm-hmm. And then we have $150,000 in the strategic initiatives, which is a TSC training grant that was approved in September, I believe, or August. Then we have assigned fund balance of 662,000. And we have the rainy day fund of 3 million, a reserve fund that they have for the E-Bridge capital improvements of 30,000. So leaving us with unrestricted fund balance available of 3,071,000 as of December 31. Any questions on the balance sheet?
I have a question. I know we're still, the auditors are still reconciling our 25. And it's predicted will be about 2.2 in unrestricted, so is that included in that 3 million of unrestricted?
Correct, yes.
Okay,
And it might be a little bit higher because, I mean, most of the adjustments as of 9/30 has been already reflected in this financial statement.
okay.
So we updated the balances as of 9/30 based on those additional items that we had to accrue.
Another question is, we plan to do a mid-year amendment for our budget.
Mhm.
Will we go based on the unrestricted that was at the end of September of 2025? Or could we go by that 3 million?
You go with these 3 million because
Okay.
this is the actual current fund balance that you have available.
Okay.
The next slide is just a budget to actual comparison for the 3 months through December. We show total revenues of 2.1 million compared to last year was at I think I skipped the, sorry. I was going to the expenses. Total revenues are at 1,562,000, where last year was at 1,617,000. And this only reflects 2 months' worth of sales tax, October and November. We should be receiving December numbers sometime this week or next week, since they usually lag 45 to 50 days to get that amount. On the expense. What was it? The 150,000 was actually the Texas A&M grants that you all will get. I think you will get 110, then an additional 40,000.
Yeah, we got a little extra money from TAMU, because they didn't allocate it to other entities. So I want to say, because we're their favorite, they gave us more.
So that was one of the biggest decrease that we see in this comparative.
I also want to point out, we still have not received our EDA reimbursements. So we are working on that, and hopefully we can have it draw down by the end of March.
Any update on the budgeted JPEG partnership?
We have received the first GBEC for 500,000. We received that last year.
Yeah, but for this year.
For this year, we have not. It's a discussion that I need to have with Gilbert, but we haven't received it.
Now, on the expenditures, we do show expenditures of 2.1 million compared to last year at 1.2, which means projects are being paid this fiscal year compared to last year. And we're basically at 22% of what was budgeted that has been paid out and accrued. Any questions on this slide?
Yeah, the question is about the negative on the quality of life. Why is it negative? Why is it, like it says minus 564 net?
Oh.
Where? Right there, down.
Actuals?
Which,
Actuals? Change, I mean, that's the final, right? Like, that's the sum of everything.
of the
correct?
total, yes, of
Yeah,
the
so
total
what-
quality of life.
So if we gave 2,107, whatever, 126, but we have budgeted for, or we have committed 8 million, how is? I
Well,
mean,
those
just help me
8 millions
understand.
are from the prior years. So basically, the 8 millions was being committed from the fund balance that you've been carrying over for the past several years. So basically, what was budgeted for fiscal year 2026 was 4.6 million, which is a 50% of the sales tax, anticipated collections. So right now, we just accrued the 500,000, which is the accounts payable to the city of Brownsville for the sports parks agreement. So the 8 million basically is just a committed fund balance hasn't been spent, but has been encumbered, that's pending payment once the project once they start working on those projects. Yes? No?
I'm sorry,
No, I understand.
I'm confused. Because like,
Right, basically, we don't budget for prior year's items because they've already been taken into consideration in the prior year,
okay,
and it's just being carried over. It's like a budget being rolled over because it's already been encumbered, something similar like that. Which means you do have the fund balance to pay off those amounts right now, which is,
That's my point,
which is
that we
included
have-
in the 9 point,
and the 9 point, the previous one,
which is included in the
the 9.6.
8.9, I mean, 8.6, yes.
Okay,
Those are included there, which is already been accrued, I mean, from prior years.
okay, thank you.
Any other questions on this slide? Okay, and this is just a sales tax comparative report from 24 to 25. Right now, we're at 1.3 million collected, compared to last year was at 1.2. So there was a approximately 3.1% increase for the first 2 months of last year. Again, we don't have the December numbers until probably next couple of weeks. Questions on this one? There you go. And last but not least, this is the quarterly investment report as of December 31st. We do show almost 1.4 million in the depository banks, 4.5 million in the money market accounts, and in the investment pools, we show 15 million. So the total cash in hand, cash and equivalents, investment pools are at 20.9 million. Compare the weighted average yield rate that's earning is 3.61 compared to 3.67 on the 3-month treasury bill, which we were slightly a little bit below, but we're just, at par to what treasury bills. And that's something that the treasury manager looks to invest in the investments fund, so we can try to maximize the interest that we earn on the funds that you all have. Any questions on the quarterly report, on the investment report? And that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank
Do we need a motion to acknowledge?
Yes.
Yes.
Can we have a motion to acknowledge?
So move.
Do we have a second? All in favor? Anyone opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 9, consideration, discussion, and possible action on the review of the 2026 Quality of Life grants with consideration of potential budget amendments and scheduling of grant presentations.
Hello again. Okay. So for our fiscal year 26, I'm going to give an update on our quality of life grant applications. We had running from September until the first week of
December
December.
15th.
December 15th, we did an extension. So guidelines at a glance, projects must be located within Brownsville city limits and open to the public, no exclusive memberships. Applicants must have operated in Brownsville for at least 2 years. Eligible applicants are nonprofits, for-profits, municipalities, no individuals or churches. Project must meet Texas Local Government Code 501.01 eligibility. Applicant must own the property or provide notarized owner approval and lease. Project must be self-sustaining and shovel-ready. Planning, bids, pricing completed. Operational expenses such as rent, utilities, personnel costs, and other general administrative costs are expected to be covered independently by the organization before applying for funding. BCIC funds up to 80% of the project costs, 20% of the cash match required, no in-kind or land value. Grants are also reimbursement-based. Planning and feasibility grants are available at a 50-50 match up to $25,000 to prepare for shovel-ready projects. That is something new that we instilled for this year. And final eligibility is still determined by state law and board city approval. Grant priorities are community infrastructure and beautification, technology and innovation, recreational and sports facilities, health and wellness initiatives, safety and accessibility improvements, environmental sustainability, destination retail and entertainment, and educational and skill development. BCIC will evaluate and score each application based on the following criteria. 20 points for community impact, which is by definition extent to which the project improves the quality of life for Brownsville residents and visitors, increases usage of public spaces, tourism, or events, generate additional sales tax revenue, and creates jobs, and or 20 points for project budget and leverage, strength of budget, inclusion of required 20% match, evidence of additional funding partners, public or private, cost-benefit ratio, and efficient use of the funds. 20 points for project details, such as clarity of project goals, objectives, scope, marketing, and readiness, addresses a defined community need with well-developed plans. 20 points for strategic alignment, aligns with BCIC's 2025-2029 strategic plan, which includes equity, innovation, tourism, and sustainability. 20 points for organization's capacity, which is the applicant's track record, financial stability, mission alignment, and proven ability to deliver projects successfully. And a bonus 15 points for environmental sustainability, including green design, conservation, or climate resilience. Maximum base score that they can get is 100 points. With a bonus, it would be 115. Projects with a minimum score of 70 would be the ones presented. A minimum score, again, of 70 points, excluding bonus points, is required for board consideration. So for this year, we had a beautiful turnout. We had 23 applicants with a request of over $7.5 million. Of the 23 applicants that we did receive, we have looked at them over a little bit. 10 of them are eligible. 6 are City of Brownsville Park adjacent projects. 1 is ineligible, and 6 are for potential sponsorship. We did print out a Excel sheet table to review the applications and the projects. Of the submissions, 9 of them were for health and wellness initiatives, 2 for cultural tourism and historic preservation, 1 for environmental sustainability, 7 for recreational and sports facilities, 1 for safety and accessibility improvements, and 3 for community infrastructure and beautification. I do apologize that I didn't put them in order from 9, 7, 3, 2, 1, 1. That's really bothering me that I'm seeing the numbers. So we have broken down the eligible and to be able to be reviewed applications. So these are the submissions to review. And we also have the possible sponsorships. So of the submissions on the top, it is 4.4 million of requested. And in possible partnerships and collaborations, it is north of 275,000. The details and project scopes are on the Excel sheet.
So, can you explain what you mean by, sorry, the sponsorship, I understand that, but there is one that is partnership. What is that? It's not here?
Where?
You have here something, partnership.
There's one that's ineligible.
Yes, that's under, sorry, where it says eligible for fiscal year 26, those are submitted that are not going to be sponsorship and they're not city park adjacent.
Okay, sorry, I didn't see it, sorry.
We're not announcing what is ineligible because we haven't notified the applicant. We'll be notifying tomorrow.
So, sorry.
I do want to point out, there's 2 that I do want to ask the board for guidance. One is for IDEA. They are asking for a plan and feasibility study, and it's more than our threshold of the 50/50 up to $25,000. Their request is $304,000.
For doing what?
They want to, which school is it? The Frontier?
Correct.
Frontier in Southmost. They want their recreational backyard. They want to turn it, make it open to the public at night. But they want to have it done correctly, so they need to do a plan, a master plan for it. And so that's what they've come to BCIC for, is to ask if we could fund their master plan. So that way.
Your concern is what?
It's more than what we've put in for the feasibility and master plan study, which is a 50/50 up to 25,000. So that's why we've kept it up there. We thought we still could have the presentation and then we all can hear about it and decide from there when we have our special meeting if it should be considered for funding.
Is it an option to go back, not necessarily now, I mean afterwards? Would it be an option to go back and say, you know what, you exceed our threshold, can you give a 50% match instead of a 20% or whatever?
We can do that. We can do that, well, we can do it during when we have those presentations, we can ask those questions as well.
I mean, we won't be able to fund everything, obviously.
No.
Yeah.
The other one I have for guidance is for Friendship of Women. They do not have a monetary match. They only have an in-kind match, which is labor for what they want to do for their,
Labor and maintenance for the deck and for the canopy area.
they've never applied to BCIC before. We had a meeting with Gloria when we first opened the quality of life. Actually, I think before then, to encourage her to look at our grant to see if there's something that we could do to assist in, you know, their mission and their property. But she did let us know that she more like would not have a match, but Eric and I, especially me, just said I encouraged her to still apply, that I would present it to the board and have guidance from the board if we could at least continue with a presentation so you can hear. Or it doesn't meet the guidelines, but the guidelines are at the discretion of the board.
So when you say they proposing to have in-kind match, how much is that monetarily? Like labor and material, whatever that in-kind match, you need to plug that in, because right now you're saying there's no match. Their argument or their proposal is, we're gonna match you, but not in money, but more in labor and material, so.
But I thought one of the criteria was that there was no in-kind.
Correct.
I don't know, that's what I'm asking you.
That's our rule.
Yeah,
Is
that
it
was
that-
our rule. There was no in-kind.
Right.
So shouldn't they be ineligible? I mean,
Yeah, so where it says eligible for fiscal year 26, it's not eligible. These are just submissions, because the one that's not
Yeah.
eligible is still in there.
But those were two questions, two of these. One we definitely know is not eligible, but those other two are the ones we wanted board guidance in regards to, do we move forward and you hear their presentations to further evaluate, or do we remove them from the list because they technically do not meet our guidelines?
Because right now, we are just presenting who applied. We are going to be asking on our side additional questions for them to have prepared for your questions come the presentation and workshops.
And
But
they don't
it's-
qualify for the promotional bucket? You know how you move some of them into promotional?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, the other
Sponsorship
ones are more event-based. This is actually a construction
Yeah,
of a
infrastructure.
pavilion.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd like to say that as somebody who's worked in this space for a really long time, I just can't get behind the notion of changing the rules after we've published them and told people what our expectations were. I think, there were probably people who eliminated themselves from applying because of those rules. And if we go back and change them now, I think we're destroying our credibility.
I think it would be reasonable, and I agree with Tracy, but I think it would be reasonable for an organization like this that we know does very good work in the community, very needed work in the community. You talk to them and you say, we cannot do this for this reason, but we do have this promotional bucket. Is there something else that you are thinking that your organization may need that we might be able to help you? Because we want to help you, but we just can't help you in this structure.
Okay.
And see what they say.
Okay.
Or if they're able to change and be able to find the match that they could be eligible for this. You know
Okay.
what I'm saying? Like, you encourage them to go through and
Yeah.
apply, and I know it's a very good, detailed application, so, hey, we're not gonna be able to change it, the rules, but if you can find a way to either qualify for this based on a guideline, or
They did,
change your ask to a sponsorship.
they did in the application put in an alternative in the event of not being able to fund the entire project. So I'll get with them,
Yeah.
discuss everything, and see maybe if that alternative is something.
And then we
Where
can
they
add them
can
to
come
the
up with a
lineup
match.
for the presentation. Or idea?
I have
I-
one final comment
Please.
on the Friendship of Women. Or in your experience, have you seen, do they not get a loan for these things? If they're presented that they potentially get a award, they can't get 20% from like a bank for some of this work?
They can all apply for a loan, but that's not something that we step in and advise.
Or you don't give that
Yeah.
feedback, how to finance that?
Yeah, we
That's
can,
on them to figure out.
yeah, that's for them to figure out, or if they could find partners to put into their match. But we'll further go into Friendship of Women. We really do want to help them. We all think they are a wonderful organization and they do a lot for our community. And we'll find a happy medium for them.
Yeah, they did give us a breakdown of their budget for the year for the organization, and a lot of it is tied to federal and state grants. So that's where they don't really have much wiggle room.
Yeah.
And I totally understand. I appreciate you trying to help them out, but I guess part of the help is to be as clear as possible with them too, because right now, like they went through the process, and we like as an organization, right? We told them go ahead and apply, even though they told us we're not having the match. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of not clear. Like, you know, we allowed this to get to this point, so now it's upon us to clarify and help them to find a way to be eligible or move it into a different category, right? Because we can't help them by telling them just apply and now, oh, sorry, you don't qualify. Well, we knew that they're not going to qualify. Does that make sense?
And the other thing is if you let them present, which I don't think is good, that's an open session, and people don't always know the rules, and so they're gonna say, oh man, BCIC didn't fund Friendship of Women, can you believe it? You know, you can avoid all of that by making sure, as he said and Tracy said, the application is correct to begin with.
Any other questions?
Yeah. And then IDEA, we'll go back to them and see what we can do in regards to their project.
They're a huge organization.
Well,
I don't understand why they can't pay for it themselves.
Also, they were, in speaking with them, they were gonna, go to the city as well to see how the city could assist, because the city's underway with their parks master plan, if they wanted to make it into a park. So that can be tabled as well.
Does IDEA have other parks, or property that they open to the public? Or
This would be the first. From the conversation I had, they've seen other districts, not out in our region, but in other places where they open their property up in the evening time to the public. And so this is what they wanted to start doing it for, at least for this one.
Again, great project.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think.
Yeah, I think we funded Camp Rio in the
Correct.
past.
Yeah.
And I think they're coming back, but I think this is different. And I mean, this is like saying, well, why doesn't St. Mary's or St. Joe do the same thing and they can open up a little segment to the public? I mean, that's what they're doing,
Yeah.
right? Am I wrong? Or
No, I mean, it's like another domino falling in that direction. But I still, in my head, I go back to they're a huge organization. I think they should pay for their own.
Moving into the sponsorship, I mean, I know we still have to review and go through the presentation, but do we have the budget in case? Like, is this amount, are we capable to fund those sponsorship?
No,
So we still need to be selective on that?
correct.
Okay.
Yes.
What's our budget in that?
We will have to amend it. We mentioned before, yeah.
Okay.
And also, we believe the requests for the sponsorship are a little inflated. So those are things that I think when we have the presentation and we hand the budget to y'all to look at, I think that's,
But those were not submitted by the applicants as a sponsorship. Those were
No, they were submitted as
a
quality life. Correct.
yeah, they were,
the one who are deciding, let's move them. into-
This is where we can
yes,
counter. And
because they're initiatives and events more than infrastructure.
But it's also possible to say to Expedition Padre, you know what, you've asked for 5,000, oh no, 1,000.
Yeah,
But we can give you 500. Would you like that or not?
yeah.
yeah, every grant that's submitted is it's subject to a counter.
The sponsorship ones, we definitely believe can be
Tailored.
tailored to what the idea.
I think
And
that's good.
For what we envision is we have these workshops, we have these presentations. At the last one, the last special meeting, we come together, we provide what our recommendations are, and we look at what you all score, so that way it's a discussion. And hopefully a productive discussion in that special meeting. I'm sorry, I jumped the gun for you.
Is it just a mistake? Is it a mistake that Health and Harmony is listed under eligible?
Yes, the eligible was a typo. It's just
Okay.
submissions.
All right.
Any other questions for Eric before we move on? What next?
And then, of course, we have the 6 projects that Sean went
Okay.
over of 2.9 million.
And we will hold those for later. Those won't be part of the presentations.
I have also a comment about this. I know we're trying to help and we're trying to find a smart way to, to work with these asks that exceeded our expectations. But I guess I echoed Tracy's comment earlier, like, did we tell them that those projects need to be approved by the city in advance before they submit the application?
So they have letters of support from Sean saying, yes, submit, and the same way that the previous year's 4 projects that were done, all 6 of them received a letter of confirmation.
So they do have a letter of
They have letters of support, but they do not have city commission approval.
but that's a new thing.
That is correct. That,
So we're
based on
changing
what,
the rules. Here I go again. We're changing the rules after they submitted their application.
However, in this case, Sean said they're gonna put all of these within their 50%. So these people are not gonna be disappointed. They're gonna
I hope
get
so.
what they asked for.
yeah.
I hope so. But, I mean, in principle, we just need to be as careful and as clear, detailed as possible. And I guess we're learning now from, in the future, we should that as part of our specific, and I think I saw it in your, eligibility. I saw a clause there which might help us. It does say that, I write it somewhere. Forgot. It does say that you have to own the property or have, so that maybe could be our kind of, savior there, like.
Yeah.
But regardless, you need to be as clear with the applicants, so hopefully it's gonna work out. And don't change the rules after the fact.
I believe tomorrow they will be presenting their proposals to City Commission executive session. Ideally, what I would like is for Sean and I to go together to these organizations to provide them a status as, a supportive. We're both on the same page, so they know what's going on.
So the difficulty, to your point, is that previously they would get a letter from Sean and come here and apply, and that's great,
Yeah.
right? And this board would decide, we like it, we don't like it, whatever. But now, it's much more political, because they're gonna have to get a letter from Sean and get the commission to approve their project. So it could be that there's commissioners that say, you know what, I don't like that third one. We might have said yes, but they said no. So it's another step, but in this case, it looks like they're gonna take them all.
Yeah.
So I think for next fiscal year, we'll come up with some clauses for the application when it comes to city park-run organizations projects.
Yeah.
Yes, we have to. But for this year, we can't just say, oh, we changed the rule. We have to
Mhm.
work with the city and hopefully find a good solution for
Yeah.
Okay, what's next? Dates?
Yes. So the next steps, budget was approved for fiscal year 26 for 600,000. The recommendation for the board is to amend the budget line item with an increase of no more than 1.4, totaling to 2 million. Funds to be allocated from the unrestricted fund balance. Placeholder pending board, which is, the workshop dates will be February 13th, Friday, February 13th, Friday, February 20th. And it is up for discussion from the board chair, if you would like March 2nd or Wednesday, March 4th. Monday, March 2nd or Wednesday, March 4th for the third and final workshop.
Yeah, because they were even
They
on
were
the
even.
poll.
Oh, my. It doesn't matter to me personally, so if you want to stay consistent and keep them all on Monday, that's fine.
I think we should do Monday, because she just said that this room will be occupied
Oh, well, there
on
you
the
go.
4th.
Decision has been made.
Thank you.
Okay.
Nelly decided.
So for your recommendation, should we do the motion now to increase so we can already have the budget before we start allocating? Since we know that we have 3 million unrestricted available. That way, at least we know what we're working with.
That's correct.
And we're not gonna be matching the 4 million regardless, but at least we know that we have enough, 50% of the ask. And
That would be my recommendation
It
is,
is an action, it is posted as an
Okay,
action item, so we need a motion.
I'll move with the motion as recommended to amend the budget to add 1.4, totaling $2 million to the funds allocated for quality of life for 2026.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you,
So,
Eric.
just for the timeline, workshops with presentations, board scoring at each session. We will send out a Dropbox link and Google Sheets. That way, if you are unable to attend, you are still able to score and access the files to review the documentation provided by the organizations. Workshops will be held up through February and early March. Special meeting after the workshops for board reviews, scores, staff recommendations, funding recommendations. And then we will conduct a public hearing at an upcoming regular board meeting after the workshops. Then present to city approval in April and execute project agreements in April or May.
So we will go, we'll start our 60-day comment period tomorrow. So that way we can initiate that and announce the workshops on the 60-day comment. So the public is invited for the workshops. Just to let you know, the workshops quorum is not necessary because we're not taking action. We're just having presentations and Q&A.
Okay, next item, what's left?
Awesome. We're going to move on to item number 2, which is selection of officers. The first item will be chair.
Can we do a pack or it has to be one by one?
You can do a whole pack, you can do one by one. It's whoever makes the motion.
And just for the sake of transparency and making things smooth, if we do a pack, do people on the pack allowed to vote or they have to abstain from the pack? They can vote. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna I have a proposal or a motion, I guess, to nominate the following. Cesar for chair, Rose Gown for vice chair, Sergio for secretary, and treasurer I will allow somebody else to nominate because currently I'm not the treasurer. So that's my motion.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Would someone like to make a motion for treasurer?
Yeah, I would like to nominate Murat for treasurer.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, everyone. Great meeting.
Item number 10,
Oh, come on.
announcements. Tomorrow is the Texas Talks. I believe mostly everybody has tickets. Go ahead and mention your name and that you're with BCIC, so that way they can guide you to your table.
Any other announcements? Does the board have any other announcements they want to make?
PUB?
We are having a workshop with PUB on the 17th. We'll go ahead and send you guys a flyer. They're going to be going over grease traps and their necessities for approvals.
And
Oh,
that'll be here.
exciting.
Over here.
And so everything will be on board, all our events and postings, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So just make sure you keep an
So
eye on
we-
that.
A motion to adjourn? All in favor?
Yes.
Hour and a half.
Okay.
That was great. That was good. See you.
You too.